Happy New Year, everyone! My name is Christine, and today I am swimming in fabric because I am setting my 2022 sewing New Year's resolution. Now, I don't normally set like big life-changing New Year's resolutions because I think if you need to change something big in your life, you shouldn't wait until January 1st to do it. You should do it when you realize that you need to change. But I am a fan of doing New Year's sewing resolutions because it's always good to set a goal at the beginning of the year to help you improve your skills or your wardrobe or the quality of sewing that you produce. In the past, I've set New Year's resolutions to learn how to sew more tailored or structured clothing or finish all the works in progresses I've started and have sat in a bucket for 5 years. And I did really well with those because they're pretty simple and easy to stick to. But this year, I am participating in the Sew Your Stash Challenge. So my 2022 New Year's resolution is going to be focused on sewing down all this fabric in my fabric stash because I have too much fabric. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, Sew Your Stash is basically for people who either have a large fabric stash like I do or a very old fabric stash, which I kind of have as well. For people like me who genuinely love the different textures and prints and just beauty of fabric in general, it's really easy to let your fabric stash get away from you and end up with way more fabric than you thought you had. And that's kind of what's happened to me over the past 9 years. I thought I had a lot less fabric than I actually do. And putting all my fabric in one spot around me really makes me understand how much fabric I actually have. And I don't have any more room to store new fabric. So this year, 2022, I am not going to buy any fabric unless I absolutely need it to finish another project I've already started. With one exception, because I think it is important to give yourself a little leeway when you're trying something new or something that's difficult. I will give myself one cheat day this year to go buy new fabric, and I'm going to try and save it for the end after I've cleared out a few boxes already. I'm really excited to sew some things this year because I have a ton of ideas of things to make, and I have a ton of gorgeous fabric to make it with too. And I want to share some of my fabric and some of my ideas with you. So if you see anything that you just absolutely love, let me know in the comments and I'll make sure that's a priority for you. All the fabric you see on the table here is brand new fabric. It hasn't even been washed. These cotton prints here are gifts from my brother-in-law for Christmas. He has great taste in fabric. This is some really nice, soft, plushy fabric that I think would make a nice robe. And this gorgeous brocade here is one of those fabrics that when you walk by it in the store, it just calls to you. This was one that started yelling at me from across the store because it is so gorgeous, and it said, "Christine, take me home," and I couldn't ignore it. I had to bring it home with me. And I have absolutely no idea what to make with it, but it is gorgeous nonetheless. This small suitcase here is full of old clothing, so it's not actual fabric, but it's clothing that I want to use as fabric or use in upcycling projects. A good chunk of this suitcase is filled with these old, boring cotton work shirts, and I want to get back to making textiles with these. So I'm going to show you how to make your own textiles with cotton shirts, and I'm also going to turn that into a really cute dress. This bag here is filled with old bed sheets and pillowcases. You might recognize this red one on top because I've already used that for a bunch of projects this year already, and I'm going to continue to use it for projects in 2022 because that is the bed sheet that keeps on giving. I haven't figured out what I want to do with the rest of these sheets yet, but there's a lot of fabric in here that I can make something really extravagant with. These 4 boxes here are actually fabric I didn't buy. They were my Aunt Heidi's fabric, and a few months ago my uncle found them and pawned them off on me, which I gladly took because she had gorgeous taste in fabric, and there's a lot of beautiful fabric in here. There's a lot of really luxe materials in these boxes, but in colors that I wouldn't normally wear. So I've been thinking it might be nice to make a capsule wardrobe out of all these fabrics from my aunt's collection, so the clothing would go well with itself and I wouldn't have to worry about trying to match it to the rest of my wardrobe. And I was thinking I'd probably get around to that towards spring or summer, since there's a lot of travel and floral prints in these boxes. This box is loaded with really good quality quilting cotton, so I want to make some nice quilts with it. And these 4 fabrics, which are the same print but in different colors, really scream Aunt Heidi to me. So I want to make my first quilt out of her fabrics with these 4 here. And I've already started sketching what I want my quilt to look like because I'm so excited to make it. And my husband bought me a Rotary Cutting Set for Christmas, so I am all ready to get those quilts cut out this time. This was an impulse buy. This is like 6 yards of fabric on here that I got for like 30 bucks, and it was just a really good deal. But I have yet to figure out what I want to make with it because it's just too much fabric to make an outfit out of. And this is where I have stuffed the bulk of my fabric. This is where most of the fabric that I've bought over the years has ended up. And a little blue fur that my grandma gave me in high school. This suitcase is mostly full of different textured black fabrics. But there's some fun purple and blue stuff in here too. But I also have a fair amount of watermelon prints too, because watermelon's my favorite food. I haven't decided if I want to combine all of these to make some sort of quilt or table runner out of them, but I might also just keep them separate and do different little projects with them too. I also have a ton of mesh and lace to sew with as well because I used to buy this every chance I found it at the store. You might also recognize these Bumblebee and Sunflower fabrics from my first quilt video. I actually ended up with twice what I ordered because there was a shipping mistake, so I have a ton of this fabric left. And I've been thinking it might be cute to make a little dress and jacket to go over it, but we'll see what I end up doing with it because I might change my mind. I found one more bed sheet in here, and the rest is all different kinds of black fabric that won't really show up well on the camera. So I think we're done digging through this suitcase for now. Thank you for watching my video, everyone. Leave a like if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments what your New Year's sewing resolution is. Subscribe to my channel because next week I'm going to show you how to make a super easy sewing project that will assess your sewing skills using these 2 gorgeous fabrics. And I hope you have a very happy New Year. I will see you next week.